Everybody, it's JetsCentral coming back with another video, and in this one I wanted to cover some of the pros and some of the cons of the New York Jets trading down in this upcoming draft. Okay, so right now the Jets are slotted in at pick number 3, and what a luxury that is. Okay, you just take a look at the recent history, right? How many franchise-changing players have been picked in the top 5, let alone the top 3? There are tons. There are tons of players that helped change teams' overall direction as a franchise and leading them to the playoffs. Okay, so right now the Jets are in an excellent position. We have a ton of players that could be available to us at spot number 3. High impact, blue chip, talented players. Guys like Josh Allen, Quinnen Williams, okay, possibly Jawan Taylor, Nick Bosa. All right, we're going to have options at pick number 3. We're going to have options at spot number 3. That said, there could be a team lurking in the shadows, right? A team like the Bengals, the Dolphins, the Giants, the Redskins. I don't want to say the Jaguars. I wouldn't put it past them to move up, but those teams right there specifically could be looking to move up on draft day. Jump up into the top 3, jump up into the top 5 to move up to land a quarterback, right? It's looking like Kyler Murray is going to be the number 1 overall pick to the Arizona Cardinals, so maybe a Dwayne Haskins could be on one of those teams' radars, okay? So it begs the question, should the New York Jets entertain a trade down scenario, right? If we get a call today, tomorrow on draft day from a team looking to move up, should we go in depth and look to move back, accumulate more picks? So let's talk about some of the pros first. Pro number 1, we don't have a lot of talent on this Jets team, okay? We don't have a lot of talent. Let's just call it like we see it. We're not a team like the Rams or the Saints or the Patriots. We're not one of these teams, or the Chiefs. We don't have tons and tons of talent on this team. We don't have a lot of depth. Yes, we did bring in some superstars, C.J. Mosley and Le'Veon Bell. We do have a young up-and-coming quarterback. We do have some nice positions that we have solidified. Jamal Adams, Marcus May. We have some nice building blocks, right? Cornerstones of this franchise, but we lack depth. Okay, we lack depth. So with trading back, what better way to gather depth, to accumulate talent, than to get more draft picks? I mean, it's just basic math at this point. What better way to get better and deeper as a football team than to pick high-impact players, highly talented players coming out of college? All right, whether it's second-round picks, third-round picks, whatever the case is, if we're getting more draft picks, that's just more talented college players entering the Jets building come, minicamp, training camp, and whatnot. So that's pro number 1. We get more players, okay? As crazy as that might sound, we get more players. We get really good players out of college, all right? As opposed to, this team picking at 3 and then not having any picks until the early section of round 3. I mean, we don't have any second round picks. I'm not regretting that by any means because Darnold's looking really good. I support that trade up last season 110%. No doubt about it. I wouldn't go back and change a thing. But we don't have any second round picks. We have to take that into consideration with Adam Gase, with Greg Williams, with Loggins moving forward. We have to understand we don't have any second round picks, so we got to make sure we do the right move here in the first and third rounds. We got to nail these picks, all right? So trading back, like I said, we accumulate more talent. More players are entering the Jets building. Pro number 2, and it kind of branches off that first point I made. Whether we trade back in this draft, all those teams that I mentioned, they're not sitting at pick 30 or 28 or 31. These are teams like, who's the lowest down the list? Washington at 15, okay? So the lowest we could possibly go is 15. We could still get a high-impact player at spot number 15, and he would be a massive, massive upgrade, whether it's an edge rusher, right, that outside linebacker, maybe a guy like Cleveland Farrell, Ja'Kai Polite, Brian Burns, I don't know. If you want to look at offensive line, Jonah Williams, okay, maybe a DK Metcalf, right? The Jets right now, and that's the good thing about being a team that doesn't have a lot of talent, a team that doesn't have a lot of wins, is that you can get upgrades really anywhere, okay? So if we trade back, get a haul of picks, and we can get an impact player that's going to be a massive upgrade over whatever position it's going to be, like a Metcalf, like a Jonah Williams, like a Brian Burns at the middle of the first round, that would be huge, okay? Because at the end of the day, we're getting much better as a football team. We're adding depth, we're adding talent, and we're upgrading, okay? So it seems like a win-win so far. And then point number 3, we get help for the future. Okay, it's really rare that you see a team trade down and they get like 1 or 2 picks in this year's draft, and that's it. Normally, when you see a team trade up into the top 5, top 3, you get a haul of picks. You get tons of picks, including picks in the following season. I mean, look at the Jets of last season. We gave up our 2nd round pick in this year's draft last year to go up and get Darnold. Who else? I mean, when the Rams traded down from pick number 2 with the Redskins to get RG3. Point is, and like the Oakland Raiders, okay, everybody's making fun of the Oakland Raiders, but now everybody wants to be a fan of the Raiders because everybody's talking about the 3 picks in this year's draft, and of course Antonio Brown and whatnot, but nobody's talking about they have 2 first-round picks in next year's draft as well. All right, so that is insane. That is such a great luxury for your franchise. So you'd be accumulating depth, you'd be adding talent. No matter what you do, whether you sit at 3 or you're picking at 15, whatever, that worst case scenario, picking at 15 mid first round, you're getting an upgrade. And then, last positive, you're getting help for the future. Chances are you're going to be getting picks in the 2020 draft, which in that draft is supposedly loaded. So we can be getting help now. We can be upgrading now, getting depth and talent now, and helping out for the, getting more picks for the future. Okay, so right now it's looking like a win-win for the Jets team franchise. Okay, but there's always 2 sides to every coin. All right, with every positive comes some negative. All right, and with this New York Jets team, right now, it's Mike Maccagnan as the general manager. All right, so let's get into some of the negatives and the red flags, the scary situations that we could be looking out for if the Jets look to trade down. All right, and this one's going to sound a little rude. All right, but we have to take into consideration who's picking the players, and it's going to be Mike Maccagnan. All right, Mike Maccagnan has done an excellent job picking in the top 10. Jamal Adams, slam dunk. Sam Darnold, slam dunk. All right, Leonard Williams, best player on the board, hasn't really lived up to that 6th overall best player in the draft hype back in 2015, but nonetheless a solid NFL player, right? He still has a great, extremely high ceiling. So he is just not, hitting home runs with these top 10 picks. But the picks, there's a lot of picks, a lot of whiffs, a lot of strikeouts from Maccagnan's part, throughout the course of his career. Devin Smith, Hackenberg, all right, Darren Lee's kind of, is he going to be on the roster? I don't know. Lorenzo Malden. And of course, I'm not saying every pick needs to be a superstar, but a lot of Mike Maccagnan's picks have not really panned out, okay? Especially in the 2nd round, especially in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round. Maccagnan has shown a very, very he's had a hard time picking talent in the mid to late rounds of the draft. Do I feel comfortable trading down in the draft, getting a bunch of picks, and the guy picking selecting the players struggles in that area big time? All right, because I don't want to pick a whole bunch of Devin Smiths. I don't want to pick Hackenbergs where just nobody's seeing the field, just injury prone players that just are struggling. I don't want that to happen. If we're trading down the draft, we gotta nail these picks. We've got to nail these picks, and so far Maccagnan has not shown that ability. That's just a fact. Of course, he's hit on some guys, right? Nathan Shepard, I hope he pans out. Marcus May, really good young player. Really like him at free safety, but all in all, his track record for mid to late first round picks is simply not there. Okay, so pick number 3, or point number 2, I mean, at spot number 3, if we pick a player right there, the chance that Mike Maccagnan hits on that pick, like a Quinnen Williams, a Bosa, a Taylor, a Josh Allen, the chances of him nailing that pick and that player turning out to be a really good player, it's a lot more higher, right? It's just simple math. If you're picking at 3, the chances of you getting a better player than you would at spot number 15 mid first round, it's just a lot higher of a chance of you, to pick a really good player. All right, so all in all, I think if the Jets get a call on draft day, or today, tomorrow, whatever the case is, by a team looking to trade up, I would entertain the idea, and I would want a haul of picks, okay? Because if we trade down, we cannot swing and miss. Because that would be the worst possible nightmare, to trade out as pick number 3 and then just to miss on the draft picks. And granted, it's not a perfect science. Not every draft is the same, and so forth and so on. But if we trade down, we got to nail these picks. We've got to make sure we are setting ourselves up for success. And I want Adam Gase, I want Greg Williams, I want Loggins in the building, in the war room, helping Maccagnan choose these players. All right, because Adam Gase has a pretty, he has his expertise is on the offense side of the football, right? So I want Gase's his opinion, his input on these players. I don't want Maccagnan up there just making the picks by himself. Okay, I really don't want that. Don't want that to happen. Okay. So let me know down below in the comment section. Do you guys want to trade down, right? Should we trade down from pick number 3 or should we stay at number 3? If I was running the New York Jets, I would entertain the idea, but I really think if I'm not blown away, if I'm not getting a complete like treasure chest of picks, I'm not doing it. I think I'm staying at 3. I'm picking Quinnen Williams. I'm picking Bosa. I'm picking Allen. Maybe a Juwan Taylor. And by the way, before I end the video, I know I'm rambling here 10 minutes, kind of getting off track, but think about this for just a second. Think about this. The Arizona Cardinals traded up last season to go get Josh Rosen at 10. They could be picking a quarterback at 1. If that's not a gift, I don't know what is. I mean, you have a team picking number 1 overall that nobody thought was going to be picking a quarterback, all right? But now they're thinking about picking Kyler Murray. That just pushes everybody down a slot. Now the Jets could possibly get the best player in the draft, the second best player in the draft at pick number 3. So we're getting incredible value. If we trade out of that spot, we have got to know 100% what we are doing. So I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. If I was running the New York Jets, I'm staying at 3, unless I'm blown away, unless I just get massive amounts of picks for this draft and the following year's draft. So I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and go Jets.